Hi everybody, welcome to Morning Tea with Omotola. Grab your cup and join me as we dive into stories, trends and happenings around the world, all through my unique opinion and perspective. Let's sip, share and spark conversation together. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, share the stories and leave your comment according to your opinion. Hello everybody, welcome to Morning Tea with Omotola. Today's story is a story that will leave you with your jaw opened wide and wondering why humans are this evil. Why would the people who are supposed to take care of you turn against you at such a very young age? Here's a quick summary of the story. Imagine being born and raised in the United States, living a comfortable life, only to end up scavenging for scraps in a Kenyan dump site in Africa, making just a minimum of $1 a day and a maximum of $5. This is the shocking reality of Andrew Richard, a young man whose story went viral, leaving millions of people asking how did he get here. Born in Minnesota, United States, in 2004, which means he will be 21 years old this year. Andrew spent his early years in foster care before being adopted by a Kenyan father and a white American mother who were unlucky to have kids. Life seemed promising until everything took a devastating turn when Andrew's foster dad lost his job and things weren't going as good anymore, so they had to move to California to live with his foster mother's family. Andrew's foster father's mother was ill, so they had to travel to Kenya to visit her. When it was time for them to come back to the United States, Andrew was abandoned in Kenya by the very people who were supposed to take care of him. Andrew found himself alone on the street of Nairobi, struggling to survive at the age of 16 years old. This makes me wonder why people are so heartless. And also, it makes me believe that this is one of the reasons why they weren't blessed with kids. So after over 4 years, people kept asking, why didn't Andrew return to the United States? How did he adapt to life in the slums and the dump site? And despite his struggles, why does he say he finally feels at home and would rather stay in Kenya than going back to the United States? Do you think there could be a reason why he was left behind? Do you think he was left behind because at that age, he has already grown out of foster care and the child care services would not come checking for him? I would like to know your opinions on this. Before I continue, if you're new here and you have not already subscribed, don't forget to do so you can be notified when I upload new stories. Also, don't forget to drop your opinion and views in the comment section below. Remember, your opinion could be for or against. Everyone is entitled to their opinions, so no judging. Please come along with me as we narrate the story from Andrew's interviews.
From Minnesota, United States to a Kenyan dump site, the unbelievable journey of Andrew Richard. Andrew Richard's story is one that has left many people stunned. Born in Minnesota in 2004, he once lived a comfortable life in the United States. Today, he scavenges through garbage in a Kenyan slum, making barely $1 a day. His journey from the American dream to extreme poverty is not just shocking, it's heartbreaking, jaw-dropping, and very evil. His viral video left viewers asking the same questions. How did this happen? Why didn't he return to the U.S.? How did his life take such a drastic turn? The answer, as Andrew tells it, all comes back to his parents, a childhood of hope and struggle. Andrew doesn't remember much about his birth parents. He only knows that he was placed in foster care at a very young age. Life in the system was tough, but at least it was familiar. That changed when he was around 7 years old and was taken in from the foster home by a couple who became his foster father, a Kenyan immigrant, and his foster mother, a white American woman. At first, life was good. They treated him well, bought him toys, and introduced him to soccer. They even enrolled him in a private school, giving him a sense of belonging he had never felt before. For a while, Andrew believed he had finally found a real family. But when he was 12, his foster father lost his job, and everything changed. They relocated to California to stay with his foster mother's family, hoping for a fresh start. Instead, Andrew found himself in a nightmare, a life of rejection. In California, Andrew quickly realized he was different. His foster mother's family treated him like an outsider. They were kind in public but cold behind closed doors. At school, things were even worse. His classmates bullied him because of his skin color, taunted him, and made him feel like he didn't belong. At home, he couldn't ask for anything, not clothes, not help, not even simple necessities. Desperate, he turned to his foster father for support, begging him to transfer him to another school or even return him to the foster system. But his words only sparked anger when Andrew told him that he wanted to go back to the foster home, that he felt a bit more belonging there than where he is right now. His foster dad was angry and he accused Andrew of being ungrateful, of not appreciating the life he had been given. Feeling trapped and unwanted, Andrew grew frustrated. The trip that changed everything. One day, Andrew's foster father announced that they were going to Kenya to visit his sick mother. Andrew had never left the United States before, but he was excited. He went with his foster parents and his cousins, his foster mother's sister's kids. When they arrived in Kenya, Andrew felt something unexpected. He felt the atmosphere of acceptance from the people around the neighborhood. Unlike in California, where he was treated like an outsider, here in Kenya, people welcomed him with open arms. He felt at peace for the first time in many years. Then tragedy struck. His foster grandmother passed away, and after the burial, it was time for them to return to the United States. Andrew felt like a wrecking ball just hit him. He has started feeling at home and comfortable with his new environment, waking up every day joyful and ready to go out to play with the neighbors' kids. The day to travel back to the United States came so fast, and Andrew felt so reluctant because he knew he was going back to the world that always rejected him and made him feel unwanted. As they headed to the airport, something strange happened. Andrew and his foster family rode in different cars, and he never read any meaning to it until the car he rode in stopped outside a gate, and the driver told him that this was his destination. Confused, he asked the driver for his parents and asked if they were to meet there before going to the airport. The driver said the instruction given to him was to drop him there. The driver forced him out of the car with his little bag. Andrew waited. For over an hour, he stood there expecting his foster parents to come back for him, and they never did. From the streets to the dump site, reality set in quickly, and he realized that he had been abandoned. Alone in a foreign country with no money, no ID, and no idea where to go or what to do. His passport is with his foster parent. Andrew wandered into a market begging for spare change. Some people helped him, but most ignored him. He couldn't communicate well because of the language barrier. For weeks, he lived on the streets of Nairobi. The street kids bullied him, calling him names, mocking his accent, and treating him like an outsider. Just when he thought things couldn't get worse, he met someone who changed his life, a guy named John. John was the first person who actually listened to him talk. John struggled to understand Andrew's accent, but he tried as much as he could until he did. They bonded over music, and John took Andrew to his home, a shack in a slum near the dump site. Unlike in California, Andrew felt welcomed by the people in the slum. They taught him Swahili, included him in their daily lives, and for the first time in years, he felt like he belonged. Choosing to stay. Andrew could have tried to return to the United States, but he doesn't know where he would go or who would take him in. He had already been abandoned twice, first by his biological parents who left him at a foster home, then by his foster parents who left him behind in a country he knows nothing about. Despite the harsh conditions, he chose to stay. Andrew started working at the dump site, earning just enough to survive. Life wasn't easy, but he was at peace. He had friends, he had a place to sleep, and he had purpose. He found an outlet in rap music, uploading videos to TikTok whenever he could. While some people pity him, Andrew doesn't see his life that way. He believes that home isn't about wealth or luxury, it's about feeling loved. A new beginning. Andrew has no plans to return to the United States. He has accepted his past, forgiven his foster father, and is focused on building his future one day at a time. While the world may see his story as one of tragedy, he sees it as one of survival. And through it all, he's still standing.
Andrew is still living with John Kamahu, the only friend that listened to him and took him in. John has helped Andrew in a lot of ways, and he is still helping him till now. Andrew is much better than he was and has been in several interviews, and people are reaching out to him to help him. He still insists that his home is Kenya, and is not sure if he'll be going back to the United States since he doesn't know who to go to when he gets there or where he will start from. What do you think about the story? Do you think Andrew will ever go back to the United States? If he decides later in the year to go back, do you think he will ever contact his foster parents again? Do you think he should seek justice from the United States government against his foster parents? What are your opinions on this story? I will be glad to read your opinions in the comment section below. Remember, you're entitled to your opinions, so don't forget to share them in the comment section, and don't forget to come back for more stories. If you're joining me for the first time, welcome to Morning Tea with Omotola, where we share stories happening and trends all around the world. Thanks for watching. See you next time.